Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. My sister was so deeply engrossed in the high society lifestyle that she couldn't break free. She wanted to transform herself into a delicate white flower. And as a result, she constantly indulged in intense activities, damaging her kidneys. I was worried that she would contract a serious disease, so I advised her that if she really got sick, her whole life would be ruined. She listened to my advice and began to cultivate her mind and character, correcting her bad habits. Later, she found someone with a clean background and appearance to marry, living a simple and fulfilling life like most people. However, fate played a trick. My sister's best friend, by chance, met a young master from a wealthy family in a bar and married him. She stepped into high society, eager to enjoy endless glory and wealth. Because of this, my sister resented me. One time while I was cooking, she suddenly picked up a pot of hot oil and poured it directly on me. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the past, precisely at the moment when my sister was putting on makeup in front of the mirror, preparing to go to a bar to find men. "Lily, how do you think this makeup of mine looks?" Rose asked. "Does it look attractive enough to make people fall in love at first sight? If I can meet a handsome and rich guy tonight, then I won't have to ruin myself again and again." She wore a pure white dress, twirling in front of the mirror. Her eyes gleamed with a faint melancholic look, the signature expression of the female lead in a tragic romance novel. She had practiced it for a long time, and today it finally showed some results. I could still clearly feel the burning pain from the hot oil burn in my previous life. Hatred flashed in my eyes. "That's right, you've prepared for so long. You will definitely achieve something," I thought. In my previous life, I was worried about her health every time she indulged herself looking for men in bars. I would advise her, "Bars are very chaotic. It's okay to go occasionally to unwind, but don't be promiscuous. What if you get a serious disease? Mild cases cause sores. Severe cases can be fatal." She became more fearful after hearing me say this many times, and her body also started to have problems. She often had dull pain in her lower abdomen. When she went to the hospital for a checkup, it turned out she had contracted a mild infection. Only then did Rose realize she was scared. She started to restrain herself and even thanked me, saying that if it weren't for me, her life would have been over. I wholeheartedly helped her recover from her illness. Later, she found a husband with a clean appearance and family background. Although he wasn't a super rich tycoon, their life was still fulfilling. Everything went by like this for a few years. When Rose and her husband started preparing to have a child, she accidentally heard the news that her best friend from back then had found her true love in a bar. They fell in love at first sight and quickly got married, and the man was a super rich. I, a young heir, didn't mind my friend's chaotic past at all. After we got married, we lived happily and blissfully. Rose went crazy one time while I was preparing dinner. She once again poured hot oil on my face. I screamed in agony. My voice rose as she stood there, her face ferocious, looking at me. "It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, the one who stepped into high society would have been me." "What is that? Better than me?" Clearly, I was the one who brought her to the bar, first met the young heir first. It should have been me. It was then that I realized the sisterhood I had always cherished was actually worthless. This life, I absolutely will not interfere in Rose's affairs anymore. Whether she wants to get sick or rot and die, it's none of my business. When I put down the cleaning rag, deciding not to clean her room for her anymore, Rose suddenly called me back. "Lily, haven't you always opposed me doing this? Why are you going along with me today?" I sneered coldly in my heart, quickly adjusting my expression. "Recently, I've been reading some tragic romance novels. They are really haunting. The love between the male and female leads is so tangled and never-ending. If I could witness such a tragic high-society romance story firsthand, I would be so envious." Rose looked at me with disdain. "Someone as unsophisticated as you also reads novels? Aren't you just burying your head in work every day to make money cleaning? You really fell into the money pit." She paused, then continued. "Let me tell you, you can watch, but don't be jealous in the future. I am the female lead of a tragic romance novel in high society. If I really meet a young rich heir, there will be some benefits for you too. The first benefit is to see if I can live well." At this time, Rose already had signs of a mild infection. In my previous life, it was a month later that I discovered it. Initially, when I took her for a checkup, she was extremely resistant, thinking that I was jealous because she was about to ruin her kidneys and prepare to attract the attention of a wealthy CEO. About to become a delicate white flower to make the CEO's heart flutter and generously donate a kidney to treat her disease. It wasn't until she had a persistent fever and was in so much pain that she fainted that I rushed her to the hospital. The test results showed that she had a serious infection, even needing medication to intervene. Only then did Rose lie on the hospital bed and cry, resentful that she hadn't even become the female lead of a tragic romance novel yet had tried so hard, yet hadn't even seen the door of high society before contracting a dirty disease, losing the chance to marry into a wealthy family. God is so unfair to me, she lamented. At that time, Rose saw my disapproving expression and wanted to say something but stopped, then shifted to blaming me. Lily, what kind of expression is that? Don't you think I want to enter high society just for money? Maybe I just want a beautiful, flawless love. What woman doesn't? The dream of having a Prince Charming to protect and love her. Unlike you picking up trash. When you were young, tutoring to earn money, then working part-time just for $10 or $20, not knowing how to enjoy life at all. Didn't the school heartthrob confess his love to you before? But what did you say? You said you didn't have time, busy studying, busy making money, no time for love. In the end, I pursued him, and now he covers all my expenses, occasionally even giving me pocket money. Look at it. Both of us lost our parents. I live a brilliant, smooth, and successful life while you are always so rigid-minded. I clenched my hands and then relaxed them. Rose and I were orphans growing up together. I always considered her my closest relative. As for that school heartthrob, I did like him, but in the end we didn't get together. Later, Rose said she would love him for me, and he agreed. I was a little heartbroken, but I didn't show it. Hearing Rose say these words, even someone with great patience would get angry. Seeing my expression was not good, Rose quickly softened her tone. Our parents are gone. We sisters are each other's only family. Family members shouldn't hate each other. Otherwise, our parents in heaven won't be at peace. At that time, I tried to restrain my emotions and helped Rose make a plan to recover her health. Rose also promised me that she would not go to bars to find random men anymore, that she would live decently like a normal person. But this time, I absolutely will not help her, not even a little bit. If our parents are watching from above, if they truly love me and Rose fairly, then they definitely won't blame me. In recent days, Rose has been constantly going in and out of bars. Her complexion has become so pale that it's not just makeup anymore. She tossed her bag onto the sofa and slumped onto the bed, habitually asking, "Lily, pour me a glass of water." I coldly looked at her. Rose complained a few times, and seeing that I didn't move, she immediately jumped up and yelled, "Lily, are you deaf? Now you're starting to disregard me. If our parents knew you were treating me like this, would they be at peace? Will you have the face to meet our parents after you die?" Speaking of this, Rose suddenly saw the suitcase in my hand and suspiciously asked, "What are you doing? Are you planning to move out?" These past few days, I have been looking for a place to live. This apartment was left by our parents for both of us sisters, but to promise not to move out is impossible. I can no longer continue living with Rose to avoid getting infected with diseases. I said, "Rose, from now on, we have nothing to do with each other. I have no obligation to serve you." Rose was stunned for a moment, then burst out laughing mockingly, as if anyone needs you. "Once you leave, this apartment is all mine." She lay down on the sofa, crossed her legs, and even hummed a light tune. Her high-lit dress slipped down, revealing skin full of fiery red rashes. My heart grew colder bit by bit. It turned out that over the years, Rose had never seen me as family. Just one day after moving out, Rose came looking for me. "You're not answering my phone anymore. What's with the sudden tantrum?" Rose glared at me and leaned against the door frame. "Open the door, I'm coming in." What gave her the right to be so aggressive? That was the past me, that weak, foolish person. But now I'm not like before. I yelled, "Get lost or I'll call the police." Rose shrieked, "Lily, are you crazy? What's wrong with you? Who provoked you that you're taking it out on me? If it weren't for our parents' sake, I wouldn't even bother with you." She raised her chin, her voice full of disdain. "How much have you saved up after working for a year? And you even have extra money to rent an apartment. Why don't you use that money to contribute to the family? Finally, she revealed her true purpose. Let me tell you, recently I'm short of money. I've heard that young heirs from wealthy families rarely go to bars in the outer 5th Ring Road. I have to go to the 3rd Ring Road area, but that area is too expensive. I've borrowed everywhere and have no other options. You quickly return the apartment, save the rent money, and give it all to me as expenses. These words, every sentence, had huge loopholes to the point where I didn't know where to start mocking. I didn't open the door, only retorted, "You're taking out online loans." Rose seemed to flinch. I quit my job a long time ago, wholeheartedly pursuing my dream. I don't have any money anymore. My face darkened and I coldly said, "I don't have money." Then I conveniently pressed the call button for the police. Rose immediately changed color, snatched my phone, turned off the call, and while running out shouted, "Ungrateful wretch. I just met a few decent guys and was planning to introduce them to you. And now it's ruined. Just continue being your low-class bookworm. I won't bother with you anymore." I took a deep breath and quickly covered my nose, spraying disinfectant alcohol all over myself, then quickly went back into the house. From then on, for several days in a row, Rose went crazy, posting all sorts of things on social media. All scenes of her going in and out of luxurious places. Didn't she just say she had no money? I didn't even bother to care, casually throwing my phone aside. In my previous life, I gave up a foreign work assignment for Rose. This life, I must seize the opportunity. As long as I complete this assignment, I can get a promotion and a significant pay raise. I was busy until my head spun, having no time and no desire to pay attention to her anymore. But not long after, I was called to the police station by the police. The reason was that Rose had seduced a married man and was caught in the act, and I was the only one with the same household registration as her, so I was forced to be present. As soon as Rose saw me, she feigned weakness, leaning to one side, her tone soft and pitiful. "Lily, why did you come? Didn't you say you wouldn't care about me anymore?" At this time, I felt exactly like the weak and pitiful female lead in a tragic romance novel. Young heirs from wealthy families like this type the most. But when I looked at her from head to toe, I only saw someone dirty and slovenly, with a bruised face and messy hair, being grabbed by the hair and slapped by a wealthy lady. It turned out that the man Rose seduced was a gigolo who lived off his wife. When Rose and the wife started yelling and cursing at the man together, I immediately raised both hands and took a step back. "It has nothing to do with me. You guys can do whatever you want. Don't drag me into it." Rose gritted her teeth, grabbed my arm and started crying, blaming me for being unfeeling and heartless, even bringing up our parents to emotionally blackmail me. I was extremely annoyed and directly slapped her in the face. "Rose, are you sick? Oh right, you are really sick." I coldly looked at her. "I'll say it one last time. You are an adult already. Don't act like an unweaned child anymore. I am not your mother. I have no obligation to indulge you. In the future, no matter what happens, don't look for me again." Rose was stunned by my slap, immediately howling to call the police, but the police only said this was a family matter and told us to resolve it ourselves. Rose immediately deflated, starting to beg, "Lily, please help me. They are demanding 100,000 yuan in compensation. Otherwise, they will expose me as a homewrecker. If I have such a stain, how will I marry a rich man in the future?" The anger in my heart surged up. Even at this point, she still refused to change. Logically speaking, she should have already had signs of illness, right? Didn't she have any doubts about her health condition? I coldly shook off her hand. "I've already said you and I have nothing to do with each other anymore." Rose suddenly glared at me, laughing coldly. "Good. Nothing to do with each other, right? Then the matter of me selling this house has nothing to do with you either. The house deed is in our parents' names. They are gone. I am their legal heir. I have the right to deal with this house. If you don't help me, then don't even dream of getting a penny from the house sale." I couldn't believe Rose had been driven crazy by her obsession with marrying into high society to the point where she was willing to sell the only house our parents left behind, selling the place that held memories of our entire family. Rose, I had thought of not caring about her anymore, of resolutely breaking off ties. But now I realized that only by settling the score from the previous life could I truly find peace in this life. "Rose, you have to pay the price for everything you've done." The wealthy lady saw the scene, originally just intending to teach Rose a lesson, But in the end, she only said a few words and left, turning back to continue beating up that gigolo. After leaving the police station, Rose hotly left before me. After our parents passed away, we never changed the names on the property deed because in our hearts, we still wanted to pretend that they were with us, but if I continued to let things go like this, then I would lose everything. If Rose really wanted to sell the house, I couldn't stop her. After all, she also owned half of it. But I had to act first. I hired a professional lawyer and filed a lawsuit with the court, requesting the division of inherited property. Not long after, Rose angrily called me. "Lily, are you crazy? Why are you always opposing me? I'm selling the house to get money for both of us sisters to have a better life. Don't tell me that after I marry into high society, I won't be able to buy countless houses. You are really obsessed with working for others." Rose secretly let people to the land registry to go through transfer procedures but was stopped. Luckily, I didn't waste a minute after leaving the police station, urgently hiring a lawyer and filing a lawsuit with the court just in time to stop her at the last minute. Rose had already signed a house sale contract, but now she couldn't hand over the house and had to compensate 10% of the contract price for breach of contract. The total value of the house was 5 million yuan, and she had to compensate 500,000 yuan. She completely collapsed before the court hearing, calling and begging everywhere, pleading for a payment extension, borrowing money from others, her voice trembling and almost bursting into tears. "Hello, Lily, this house is ours, half for each of us. By that time, I only need cash and the house will be in your name. Now transfer 500,000 yuan to me first. I need to pay off debts urgently. They are pressing me hard." She paused, then continued, "No, give me 1 million yuan. I also have online loans." Rose really overestimated me. I was just an ordinary office worker, just lucky to be born in the capital city, so I was fortunate to have a house. Otherwise, I would be no different from countless other working people. I replied concisely, "I don't have money. Just wait for the court's verdict. By then, the house will be in both of our names. Without me, you can't sell it alone." Rose immediately roared madly, her voice trembling with despair. From the first time Rose asked me for money until now, it had been more than a month. Rose's online loans must have already expired, and with such a large loan amount, it was definitely not from any legitimate financial institution. If she didn't repay in time, those debt collectors wouldn't let her off easily. Throughout the trial, Rose was anxious and worried, eventually fainting in court. But this didn't affect anything. The verdict was quickly issued. The court recognized the inheritance, meaning this house could not be easily sold. After Rose was taken to the hospital, I didn't bother to visit. Even so, news about her still reached my ears through her only best friend, Daisy. Someone told me that Rose was sick, asking me why I didn't visit her. I indifferently replied, "Tell Daisy not to report such things to me in the future. Also, I am at the airport about to go abroad and will be there for a very long time in the future. No matter what happens, don't contact me because even if you want to, you won't be able to." Daisy was shocked and angrily scolded me for being cold-blooded and heartless. "She is your own sister." I curled my lips into a smile, wanting to see if Daisy would repeat the same mistake of being taken advantage of by Rose again, just like in my previous life. Hopefully, at that time, Daisy could still maintain the sweet tone. In my previous life, Daisy and Rose broke off relations 3 months after Rose started taking HIV medication. I didn't know the specific situation clearly. I only remembered that Daisy wailed on the phone, "Rose, it's you. It's you who harmed me. It's you who dragged me down into this muddy swamp with no way to escape. Now you say you're done and leave, leaving me alone to struggle in the mud with no way out. It's all your fault." But Rose at that time didn't care, calmly hanging up the phone while munching on sunflower seeds and tooting about how troublesome it was. From that moment, I was completely disappointed in her. If it weren't for the blood relationship, maybe I would have cut off contact long ago. I sighed. If only I could have quickly left Rose in my previous life, maybe I wouldn't have died tragically from being splashed with hot oil, burned to the point of suffocation. I boarded the plane going abroad for half a year on a work assignment, working diligently. When I returned, my salary had increased from 10,000 yuan to 30,000 yuan, and I also got promoted. In my previous life, I wholeheartedly dedicated myself to Rose but received nothing in return. Unexpectedly, Putting my heart and soul into my work brought so many benefits. That day, the company held a welcome back party for me. I didn't expect to meet Rose again. Even more unexpectedly, she was with Daisy. The two of them were being hugged and embraced by a fat, greasy man, swaying as they entered the elevator. Now, are young heirs from wealthy families all into this type of body figure? I quickly averted my gaze, not wanting to have any connection with them. The two elevators were very close to each other, making it impossible for me not to hear Rose's coquettish voice. "Boss King, honey, I'm so hungry. Can I eat first?" "Eat what?" Boss King chuckled. "Eat mine first, you little devil." "I'm serious, Rose," she whined. "If you don't let me eat my fill, be careful later. I won't be able to serve you to your heart's content." Boss King laughed heartily, his greasy hands groping somewhere, causing Rose to moan ambiguously. My ears almost exploded, just hoping the elevator would arrive quickly. Finally, the elevator doors opened. My colleagues stepped in one after another, almost no space left, yet Rose and Daisy still squeezed in. "Boss King, I don't know where he went." The elevator beeped, indicating overload, but the two of them still refused to come out. Rose pouted, glaring at me. "Lily, what are you pretending for? Even if you are good, you are just a lowly employee. Doesn't know how many people like you are under his command. Getting a salary of 30,000 yuan already makes you think you are so great. Maybe in the future, I will be your boss's wife. At that time, will you still have the face to bow down and fawn over me?" These words made the surrounding colleagues understand that I had a relationship with Rose. The atmosphere in the elevator became strange. Before I could say anything, Daisy spoke up first. "Lily, temporary success doesn't mean anything. What's important is who can laugh last. Rose is your sister. She's sick in debt, but you abandoned her alone in deep water, not even caring about her life or death. Now you see she has a rich boyfriend, so you hardly arrange a chance encounter. Why don't you kneel down and apologize to her? She won't forgive you." I looked around, seeing many colleagues starting to pay attention to me, some even showing interest in watching the drama. I laughed. "Rose, has your disease been cured?" Then I turned to Daisy. "Daisy, do you know she has HIV?" As soon as I said this, the crowded elevator suddenly had a vacant space around me. Many people quickly covered their noses. Some even panic-strickenly ran out. Rose was pressured by everyone's disgusted gazes, her face distorted, stomping her foot hard and leaving. Rose even threatened Lily. "I won't let you live in peace." Inside the hotel banquet hall, the smell of alcohol was still strong. Colleagues in the department sat around the round table, everyone a little bewildered. I knew that if I didn't explain clearly, many rumors would spread about me later. I spoke up. "The first person who spoke to me in the elevator just now is named Rose. She is my biological sister. Our parents passed away early. We sisters depended on each other for 15 years. But recently I broke off relations with her. The reason is that she lives a dissolute life, and even wanted to sell the only house our parents left behind." I paused, then continued. "I believe that everyone will understand my character in the future. If you don't believe it, you can ask my former colleagues. Rose and I are completely different. At least I can guarantee one thing. Under my leadership, everything is fair and transparent. Everyone just needs to work hard. No need to worry about workplace politics." Finally, I added, "Also, I am not sick. Everyone please rest assured." The banquet fell into silence. Some people were still doubtful, but after all, I was their manager, so they still had to show respect. The party proceeded normally. As long as my words and actions were consistent in the future, everything would naturally become clear. In the 6 months I was abroad, I don't know how Rose had paid off all her debts and even hooked up with a man who claimed to be her boyfriend. Her life, although not as she had originally hoped, was not too bad either. After the party, I stopped by the old house. Everything that could be moved or sold had been taken away. The house was fine. If she didn't bother me anymore, I also didn't want to be involved with her anymore. I had thought about getting revenge on Rose before, but I realized that wasting time on hatred was the most meaningless thing. In my previous life, I wasted my whole life taking care of her. This life, I just wanted to live for myself. After throwing myself into the first major project after returning to the country, I kept staying up all night, exhausted but also very fulfilled. During that time, Rose was also busy showing off her luxury bags and clothes. She had blocked all her old friends on social media, but I don't know when she used a secondary account to reframe me. I glanced at the photos on her personal page, feeling familiar. Then I flipped through Daisy's posts from a few days ago. And indeed, they were exactly the same. Not only the poses and background, even the faces of the two of them had some similarities, as if someone had finally tuned their features according to the same template. Only then did I realize that there was also something called a debutante training class in this world. I curled my lips, unable to help but find it ridiculous. Suddenly, Daisy called, "Hello Lily, tell me the truth, does Rose have HIV?" I asked, "What makes you ask?" She also wouldn't admit it when I asked her. I remembered half a year ago when Rose called me to the hospital to pick her up after she was discharged. At that time she looked very panicked. I asked her how her illness was, if it was serious. She never answered directly. Thinking back now, it was indeed very suspicious. Daisy continued, "Tell me the truth, don't cover up for her." I laughed. "I have no feelings for Rose anymore, but I have no feelings for you either. If I were you, I would quickly go for a health checkup. Why are you looking for me?" Daisy choked with a sob, her voice trembling. "I've checked, I'm also sick." She started sobbing, choking back tears, blaming. "It's all Rose's fault. It was she who told me that she had a way to help us marry into high society. She brought me into those secret groups, told me I had to play the role of a fallen woman so that a young heir would stand up to help me. She said that it was a familiar script in high society. It was already deeply ingrained in the minds of people in this country. I listened to her rambling, only feeling ridiculous. She chose that path herself. No one forced her. Now being deceived, she blamed others. Not hearing me answer, Daisy became even more resentful. I've been sick for more than half a year. During that time, I only took the vitamins Rose gave me, thinking they were health supplements to help me maintain my beauty. Unexpectedly, they were HIV treatment drugs. She has been scheming to harm me for so long, yet still pretended as if nothing had happened, playing the role of close sisters with me, dreaming together of marrying into high society. I must take revenge. I must take revenge on Rose. Daisy roared, saying that she had reported Rose's illness to Boss King, the fat greasy man I met at the hotel that day, who got infected from Rose. King flew into a rage, immediately blocking all of Rose's avenues for making a living in the industry. Rose was beaten half to death and then thrown out on the street. After her wounds healed, she went to find Daisy. The two of them had a fierce argument. Rose angrily scolded, "You idiot! You are just like Lily, narrow-minded. You spread this matter out. Who else would dare to look for us? Don't you seize this opportunity to make some money? What are you going to live on for the rest of your life? Don't forget you also have the disease. The medicine you've been taking has all been paid for by me. Now you're cutting off relations with me? Then I won't care about you anymore either. Let's see how you live in the future." Daisy immediately panicked, hastily apologizing and begging for forgiveness, but Rose kicked her away, laughing coldly. "Stay away from me, you blind fool. You and I are not on the same level. Get lost." Daisy was stunned while Rose had another idea, her eyes flashing with excitement. She then turned and left, clearly still not having given up on her ambitions. Since being banned in the industry, the style of Rose's social media posts also changed completely. No longer were they those glittering and luxurious photos, but rather the image of a dignified family woman. Of course, she also changed to a new account, constantly sending friend requests to me, probably wanting to show off that she was still living very well. I didn't care. I once regarded her as family, but she always saw me as a competitor. In the dark, I was busy with work, having no time to pay attention to these petty tricks. 3 months passed and suddenly she started going on blind dates. I accidentally saw a photo she posted online. The man beside her was actually Tom, the one she married in my previous life. The two of them intimately held hands, even sharing a straw. If Tom wasn't careful with preventative measures, soon he might also get infected. In my previous life, Tom and I also had some acquaintance. After all, he was once my sister's husband. We helped each other with a few things. Should I call and warn him? But how should I say it? I opened Daisy's personal page, only seeing posts full of gloom. Her hair was falling out in large clumps, as if someone was tearing it out strand by strand. Her skin was covered with rashes, even some serious sores. Didn't Daisy treat her illness? Didn't want to or didn't have the money to. Rose only needed to squeeze $1,000,000 out of Boss King to pay off all her debts. Yet Daisy had fallen into this state. This was really puzzling. I tried sending Rose's secondary account to Daisy. Not long after, Daisy frantically called me. When she couldn't get through, she posted a series of posts online. Damn it! Why is she less educated than me yet relies on dirty tricks to be noticed on par with me? She dragged me into the mud, ruined my life, and then pretended to be a virtuous woman creating a new life. Why do I have to endure this while she doesn't? I must ruin Rose. I hung up the phone, continuing to work. Outside, the sky was dark, a gentle breeze blowing. I thought everything was about to end, but I didn't expect that the way Daisy chose to take revenge on Rose was to rush at her with a knife and stab her. Daisy was sentenced. When the court pronounced the sentence, she stared blankly at me. That night I had a strange dream. In the dream, Daisy, with messy hair and wild eyes, her body covered in wounds, stood before a man, staring fiercely as if wanting to tear him apart. That man was the young heir from a wealthy family, whom she had married in my previous life. He had a bizarre hobby of torturing Daisy in bed to the point where she was worse than dead. She couldn't stand it and tried to resist, but he grabbed her collar and cursed straight into her face. "You filthy! You're already sick like this. You can only be my toy, and you still dare to pretend to be a good girl." In my previous life, Daisy also participated in debutante training classes, being molded according to high society standards. But no matter how carefully she concealed it, there would be a day when she was exposed, both that she was not a real debutante and that she was sick, and that she still went out and played around recklessly. When the young heir discovered all this, he went into a rage, locking her in the basement, torturing her day and night. He tortured her to the point of almost dying, then forced her to take medication to prevent the spread of the disease. He continued to be so brutal to the point of almost being perverted. In this life, she was not tortured by the young heir but still couldn't escape the fate of being locked in the iron cage of her own making. I couldn't help but sigh, but Rose was only worth me wasting a second of thought. I sighed before being arrested. Daisy had told Rose that it was me who instigated her to do so. Daisy had no evidence, but Rose still believed it. She thought I was jealous because she had found a number 2 devoted suitor. I really didn't know where this number 1 devoted suitor, number 2 devoted suitor theory came from. Even now, Rose was still dreaming of being the female lead in a tragic romance novel. Rose took me out to a tea house, her demeanor extremely elegant, but I was wrapped from head to toe, hat, mask, protective gear, nothing missing. Not long after, her refined appearance also collapsed. "Lily, do you need to overdo it like this? My illness is already very well controlled, and besides, HIV is not airborne." I leaned back in my chair, folding my arms across my chest. "Oh really? It's just that I find your bad breath a bit disgusting." Rose took a deep breath, then forced a smile. "Okay, never mind. I'm your sister. I won't argue with you." She changed the subject. "I want to tell you something. I'm getting married to Tom soon. I need a house as our love nest, so I want to use the house our parents left behind." In my previous life, after getting married, Rose and Tom indeed lived in our parents' house. Because of this, there were not a few conflicts between us. Intentionally went into the bathroom when Tom was home to seduce him. She said that I cooked delicious food to seduce him. She said that I smiled when talking to him, also to seduce him. In the capital city, renting or buying a house is very expensive. The house our parents left behind was spacious. It was not strange for the two of them to live together. At that time I was still foolish, always enduring, even thinking about moving out myself. Thinking back now, I was really too stupid. I coldly said, "Why are you telling me this? You also know I won't agree. Half of the house is mine. It is indeed half yours, but it doesn't mean you can arbitrarily bring anyone to live with you, unless you guarantee that the person you bring will not infringe on my space." Rose glanced at me, full of disdain. "So petty." Then she changed her tone. Still in the posture of a standard female lead in a tragic romance novel. "A rich, handsome, and devoted man will always treat the female lead well. He can completely buy another house, but I am also willing to pay to make this house belong to you. We will buy back your half for 2.5 million yuan. After that, this house will have nothing to do with you anymore." I didn't express my attitude. She again started to lose patience. In just a second, her face twisted, full of ferocity. Let me tell you the truth, I basically don't intend to marry Tom. I just want to get this house. I just met a rich man. The two of us are ambiguous. As long as the rumor that I am about to get married spreads, he will definitely get anxious and rush to snatch me away. At that time, he will be like a domineering CEO snatching me away right at the wedding, leaving the devoted Tom alone to suffer. This is the path I want to take. She narrowed her eyes, her voice cold. Don't block my path, Lily. Do you know having a house in the capital city is already better than most people? Now everyone values the image of a strong female lead. Can't always be a delicate flower to be trampled on by men anymore. If I have a house of my own, then I will be worthy of a young heir from a wealthy family, and then no one will look down on me anymore. She smirked. How about this? If you don't want me to go crazy like Daisy and stab someone, then obediently sell your half of the house to me. But I am different from Daisy. I won't be stupid enough to spread rumors everywhere before taking action. Daisy hesitated for too long, so she didn't stab accurately, but I won't fail once. I can't marry into high society. Then this life has no meaning anymore. At that time, I will drag you down to die with me. I didn't know what crazy things she could still do. It seemed that her brain had completely lost the ability to think. The first time I met Tom in this life was at the contract signing. Rose supervised closely, not allowing him to use any social media and always guarding against me, afraid that I would reveal her plan. I almost wanted to slap her head. She could have just not told me from the beginning, but from the time Daisy was arrested, I had texted Tom telling him he should go for a health checkup. I had fulfilled my responsibility, whether he read the message or not, whether he decided to leave Rose or not, it was none of my business. I couldn't interfere too much in other people's lives. Today, I agreed to sign the contract only because I wanted to protect myself, not to put myself in danger again. In my previous life, Rose killed me. This time, she also intended to kill someone. No matter how much I guarded against it, I couldn't guarantee that I would completely avoid it. After signing the contract, I received 2.5 million yuan. Not a beautiful number, but that was the price for me to completely cut off from the past, feeling as light as if I had just shed a heavy burden. The next time I heard news about Rose was on the city's gossip news page on her wedding day. When it came time to exchange rings, she suddenly refused to continue. No matter what, she cried and made a scene, constantly calling someone. As soon as the call connected, she choked with sobs and roared, "Why didn't you come to snatch me away? Do you still love me?" Tom still stood quietly, silently looking at her. At that moment, the large screen behind them started playing a clip with recordings, videos, and photos from various angles. Some were secretly taken. Some were selfies, all exposing Rose's chaotic past. The disgusting images made the entire venue nauseous. Many guests couldn't stand it and had to turn their faces away. No one knew that Tom and I had secretly cooperated. We wanted to push Rose into hell once and for all. I had used an anonymous account to send a lot of evidence to Tom. At first, he didn't believe it. After all, Rose was very good at pretending. It wasn't until he took Rose's medical samples for testing that the truth was revealed. Tom was not the devoted character in a novel. He was just an ordinary man living in the real world, deceived and betrayed. He definitely had to make the one who harmed him pay the price. Even now, he didn't know who sent him the message. Maybe he guessed but didn't say it because everything should end now. Rose was completely discredited. No matter how much she wanted to play the role of a female lead in a tragic romance novel, no one would bother to spend money on her anymore. The house in her name also couldn't be sold because everyone was afraid it was contaminated. The money in her hands gradually dried up, and her illness also had no way to be treated. Her appearance became increasingly frightening. In the middle of the night, my phone suddenly rang continuously. I never turned off my phone or put it on silent mode at night. My career was on the rise. I needed to always be ready. Unexpectedly, it was precisely this that helped me hear Rose's last words. "Lily, I slit my wrists. Are you happy now? I'm just a child who lost her parents at a young age, wanting someone to love me. Why did I fall into this situation? Before, at least I still had you by my side. Now, not even one person is left." Voice was weak and trembling. "Lily, did you reincarnate?" That's why you suddenly ignored me and didn't worry about me as before. Actually, I also reincarnated. During this time, I kept vaguely seeing images I had never seen before. Maybe that's the memory of my previous life, right? You reincarnated but didn't tell me. You deserved to be killed by me in the previous life because your heart was already cold from the beginning. In this life, you can heartlessly watch me be so miserable. Maybe in the previous life, you never truly regarded me as a good sister either. Now I'm going to die. The house belongs to you. In the end, you won. She paused, then continued, her voice full of resentment. Why do I want to sell the house? I want to spend all the last money, yet no one is willing to buy it. Even haunted houses have buyers, yet I live in that house and can't sell it. This whole world is unfair to me. If I also had a chance to reincarnate, I wouldn't reincarnate. I just want to be reborn into a wealthy family, never having to live in hardship like this again. Even at this point, she still didn't understand that she fell into this ending completely because of her own greed. If I can meet a handsome and rich guy tonight, then I won't have to ruin myself again and again. Rose's voice echoed faintly in my ears. I didn't know when the call ended. In the silent night, only the sound of my own breathing echoed. From now on, I could finally sleep peacefully. Before hanging up, I still made a phone call telling people to take Rose out of the house before she completely died. After all, I didn't want to keep a house with a dead person in it. On the way to the hospital, Rose took her last breath, and that was the best ending.